We're 16th and we're also live. Hello. What is up, everyone? Hello and welcome to BA Saturdays here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. A nice little Saturday morning hangout before the stress of tomorrow hits us. I'm your host, Terry. I've got Pommy with me. Good morning, mate. Welcome to BA Saturdays again.
Good morning. Your daily hit of energy for Saturday morning. How good's this? Saturday, we're everywhere now, like 24/7.
Yeah. Last week was fun. And also, I think it's good because we don't have to talk about Carlton today. Like we will. We'll talk about Carlton. We'll talk about the selection. We'll go through the meltdown. We'll do the meltdown all over again. Really, this is just for those watching at home. If you want to ask questions, if you want to call in, you're welcome to call in. We're just going to have just some fun, some general fun. That's really what this is all about. Just chilling, hanging out. If anybody would like to call in, the link is in the chat. Repeat, the link is in the chat. So you're welcome to come in, ask any question. But firstly, let's say good morning. Who we got? If you're watching, let us know. Where are you? Where are you tuned in from? Connor, hey mate. Chills. Hopefully surgery was okay. What's happened? Hopefully all good.
We try and get off the Carlton subject, and we've got a person who's potentially a late out. Chills. Thanks.
Why not be back in the 8 and 4 weeks? Window slightly more open. Yeah, absolutely. Who we got? Lucky Jack is here. Love to see it. Christian. Hey, mate. We are feeling good. Sayaf. Good morning, mate. Peter V. He's always here. Angus. Ur. Yes, Saturday. Yes, sir. BA Saturdays. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, we're just going to answer any questions that you guys have for the first little bit of this. And then what I've got in mind is to do a few things, and I'll let you all decide. But in my mind, I think we should play the categories game, the higher or lower. So I want to play that for a little bit. Obviously, I want to talk general footy talk, general nonsense. And then I was thinking, if anybody would like to watch some old fan cams, let us know in the chat. First of all, if that's even of interest, and secondly, which one, because we can go back and watch anything. I can share my screen here and we can we can watch some old fan cams, or really anything you want. Buongiorno, Adrian Salerno, CT's here. We can discuss the Ashes. We sure can. Pommy, you should stop saying that the Poms are going to belt the Aussies, mate, because it never works out well.
I don't know what Adrian's on about. I don't even watch cricket. Melts game.
Good morning to you, Sayaf. Appreciate the 15, mate. It's breakfast in bed. We got hi St Kilda. Hey Lemon Pop Animations. Jimmy. Adrian's in Phillip Island. Yeah, can we understand this? Does the draw last night mean that our draw is irrelevant now? Because I don't quite understand it.
I don't say the P word. It obviously, the way the ladder's going, it could bring up the percentage talk, but I think really when you're 15th, 16th on the ladder, even though we are 2 games out of the 8 and a bit, I think at the moment let's just bank some wins before we start worrying about the percentage. Percentage should get a boost this weekend. It was an entertaining game, though, wasn't it? It was nice to see someone else draw. Robbie Fox will be kicking himself because Sydney, that's the biggest robbery I've seen since Ned Kelly.
Well, I think more than Robbie Fox, mate, Tom Hickey. It's also good to know that there's other teams out there that don't execute. Can you imagine that was us? I don't think we've had a game that bad in front of goal where some of the misses last night were shocking.
I think if you watch every game of the AFL, I actually always say it makes Carlton look less bad because you actually see that what we do is in stages in other teams. Not saying that we're equal to them. They probably do it less than us, but you still see them egregious errors. So it's going to be an entertaining one. I really do think this season is going to be tighter than a frog's bum, which, as we know, they're watertight. So
yeah,
It's entertaining. It's entertaining. But I mean, at the end of the day, Carlton, I think last year got way too focused on incidentals. And the cold hard facts are Carlton put games away last year, they would have made the 8. And it'll be the same this year as well. If Carlton missed the 8, they'll look at the first 10 games and go, well, you reap what you sow in this life.
It's got a lot of make your bed, lie in it now, doesn't it? There is a bit of look. I'm always a little bit hopeful, but based off what we've seen this year, it's got a lot of no. We've already written it. It almost feels like we've written the story of the year, even though there is 9 games to go.
Well, I mean, in the immortal words of the great philosopher Sarah Bedingfield, the rest is still unwritten.
The rest is still unwritten.
Oh, Natasha Bedingfield, sorry.
Fair.
Girl's name's getting wrong.
Fair. There you go. All right, let's get to some questions. Oh, also, you will see pinned to the top of the live chat the survey. So basically, I've put a little survey together. What I'm doing is I'm building a business. That's what's happening. Surprise. And if you fill out the survey, you'll go into the draw to win this bad boy. So I just basically want to know a little bit more about who the audience is and what your interests are. So that's what's happening. Very exciting times. I will draw this out probably next week. We'll do it next week. So hit the link, 90-second survey, get it done, and you will go into the draw to win the Sam Walsh print. Pommy, let's talk about selection because it's the big topic. It's the big topic. Tim says, I honestly thought we were past selecting Ed Curnow, but curious on both your thoughts around why we keep selecting him over a younger player like Dow. I have no idea. This one doesn't make too much sense to me, if I'm honest.
It's one of 3 options. Option 1, Voss picked a team that maximised annoyance for everyone, and he is literally one of the lads completing banter. I would buy him a beer with that team selection. I mean, you know what? My initial thought when I saw Ed Curnow came in was definitely, I think TDK is hurt and may not play, and he's gone the extra inside mid because TDK is going to be a late out an hour before bounce. Young's going to come in and Voss is like, flood it. I think the only football reason I can give you, and I don't 100% believe it, is they've looked at Hawthorn, they've seen the last game, that senior bodies, more mature bodies eventually wear Hawthorn down. And he's just gone with old reliable. Do I agree with it? Not at all. I think we should have a mind of 2024. And bring Bins in, even Zach Fisher, even though you haven't knocked the wall down, try and get something out there. But yeah, it just says to me, underlined, he doesn't trust the squad and he's gone with what he knows.
Interesting. Yeah. Sorry, I just need to erase this. Ur, thank you very much. This is ridiculous. Very, very kind. Very kind. Thank you, mate. Yeah. There's always more to the story, isn't there? There has to be more to the story with Dow. And what I mean by more to the story is I don't think it's as simple as, we just don't think he's in the best 22. I think there's got to be more to it that just either he's not allowed to be revealed right now or just isn't being revealed right now. That one's a bit shocking to me. But I don't know. Whether it's for 2024 or not, it's hard to connect with the mentality of team selection at the moment. For the most for a little bit of it, I think for the most part the teams we're all aligned on why certain players are there, and maybe that's just the nature of how it's going to be because the selectors will know more than what we do. But from what we're watching, I just don't understand. That selection at all. It's a head scratcher.
It's a weird one because I thought balance against Gold Coast was absolutely perfect. To be honest,
yeah, okay.
I thought balance was absolutely perfect last against Gold Coast. I thought that was probably the best team selection I 100% agreed with that. I don't think you could make any arguments. Ed Kerner coming in just screams to me that, and it's my big concern with this game, that Voss is reacting to what they potentially can do, which
Hawthorn.
would mean that my theory on why Gold Coast was good was because he reacted to their one wood, which was contested stoppages. And we brought our heat there and happened to accidentally be good because that's the only thing Gold Coast are good at. Yeah. This week, I think, is a really concern if we go and react to Hawthorn, because that means you're going to keep them in the game. And young sides, when you keep them in the game, who are a bit wet behind the ears, they get up and about, and that could be a problem. But like, some people bring in for me, it's nonsense when people say Dow's got to play, fling him on the wing. You've only got to watch Dow play football. He ain't a winger. And all the top teams are moving on to a proper wing. Walsh on the wing makes sense. Should it be Binns? 100% it should be Binns. If you're bringing in another inside midfielder, George Hewitt, we're stuck with him for a few more years. You'd suspect Ed Kerner retires. I don't like it because I feel like it plays into, on paper, what Gold Coast are good at. I mean, what Hawthorn are good at. And they are going to give it a go with quick handball, fluid movement in there, looking to kick mark and get the game going fast, which I don't think Ed can do. And I don't think there's anyone on the Hawthorn side that you should be tagging. To be honest, I really don't. And that's with all respect to Hawthorn. But at the end of the day, the team is selected. And I am actually surprised at round 16. People are still shocked that selection isn't great. I do the team show. Not much can come on that team show that will shock me anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like short of them dropping Ed Kerner and playing Josh Honey at full forward, that's probably where I am now on levels of shock. So it should be good enough to beat them. I really thought this was an opportunity to blood Binns for just a game, get him in there and get him going and keep the same balance you had last week. Because I don't think Cottrell is a winger. I think he's more of a forward who happens to pinch it in the win, which Voss has backed up this week. So's Binns. That's Binns' bread and butter from juniors, so give him the game. But at the end of the day, I feel that's a deeper story in the terms of he doesn't like the squad, which, let's be honest, this squad was built for Teague and pre-Bolton. So I think he's telling you he's got 23 players that he likes and 15 players he doesn't.
Yeah, that's where I said this the other day with Ari on the extended team show. I feel like it's been consistent. They tried to give him an opportunity to leave at the end of last year. This is Dow, for example. Made it pretty clear that he wasn't in the best 22 last year. Made it pretty clear that they were looking to give him an opportunity to find a new home. Nothing eventuated. Now, whether that was because no offers came or no offers of substance came, it didn't happen. No one was. It seemingly no one was interested. If somebody wanted to get him on their list, they would have got him on the list at the end of last year. So we go into this year knowing all of that, knowing he's on the outer, so to speak, and they've been, I guess, really consistent with that all year. They do not think he's part of the best 22, and they do not think the part which I guess is really maybe a bit confusing now is, I mean, he's on the list. He's on the list. So you have your 40-something to choose from. He's certainly played well enough to at least have a crack. But if they don't see him as part of the future plans, then it is what it is. I think also what is quickly forgotten with Dow is that there's no expectation on him now. So when there's no expectation on him, it looks like he's playing well. People forget when there was expectation on him to perform well, that's where he wasn't able to perform. Now, having said that, he hasn't been given a chance this year really to go at it for 3-4 games. So I don't know. I just think there's no different to this time last year. He wasn't in the best 22, and they don't see him part of the plans.
I think it could be as simple as that. I mean, you said the word that makes me angry in any industry. Chance. The C word. Do you know what I mean? This is high-level sport. You don't get chance. Do you know what I mean? You break the door down, and you know what? I will 100% back Voss in. If Voss has got to have, and so has the list management, pure say in the terms of if they don't think Dow's here, don't play him. But then I would counter that and say there's no chance on God's green earth Ed Curdo's getting a contract next year. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised. But why are you playing him? Like, this is where you blood in. But this is just screaming to me that it's happened throughout history in sport. Coaches don't like certain players. And for whatever reason, I can't give you a football reason why Dow isn't in. I can't. Like, he looks good, but it is, the only thing I can come back to is it's VFL. Right? It's VFL for one, right? It's Mickey Mouse compared to seniors. And then also, point two, you've seen Dow play 15 minutes a game, which any clown could do. You're fresher than the guys in the middle. So, do I like it? No. Do I like it? No. But when people are saying like favoritism and stuff, that's sport. That's life. Do you know what I mean? You like certain people more than others. Other people don't like you for no other reason. That's life. Like, if we're getting into a subject of you've got to be impartial, Jesus, that's a societal problem.
Oh yeah, there's this. Yeah, there's a
deeper than picking 22 blokes to run on a footy field.
Yeah. Well, also, do you think Dow as a prospect has more value today, 1st of July 2023, than what he had 12 months ago? Do you think he is garnering more interest today than what he was a year ago?
If I was a coach and I'm another club, if I've got midfielders that can protect Dow, I've got almost a Carlton makeup. I've got 3 guys that are big, strong, who can protect him. I think he's way more, worth way more than last year. I think his VFL form, I would be looking at the biggest thing, his attitude. And this is what I said about Stocker last year. It would put me off the way he behaved when he left. That would always worry me because that was a very quick turnaround. And I think petulance and firing back are very weak human traits. I look at Dow and I think he's just gone and worked. And I see the improvement on him. If I was a list manager, I'd be hungry for a Dow. Dow would be over players like Fisher, O'Brien in what I'd want to pick up for Cal. Even TDK. TDK is just an obscure position. But as a human being, Dow, I'd be like, you know what? This kid hasn't sulked. He's gone in, averaged 30, kicked ass every week. Let's give him another opportunity. Because I think if Dow carries on this attitude, I don't think he'll be a world beater, though. Like, you know, people are saying, oh, we'll go and regret it. Not many players in the history of AFL, and it is over 100 years, have gone on to another club because they've not been best 22 and done it. There's like 5 in the last 20 years. So I think he'll be very solid, though. Very solid performer. And you know what? Dow's one of the few. I usually like to boo old players and hate them. Dow, I'll never begrudge him what he does because I wish him the best because I think his attitude has been club first and that needs to be applauded. But I don't buy into conspiracy theories and stuff like if people, when I hear shit like unfair and, you know, detrimental to mental health, this is real life. People are arseholes. People don't like you. Like I want people's lives if they're upset about Dow because they must live in a world that I don't live in because the world is unfair and unjust. But you know what? Dow's controlling what he can control. He's working hard. He's putting his name in the window. He ain't pissing and moaning. He could go onto radio and have a cry and everyone would get behind him. But you know what? Dow's been an adult, being a man, and being a sportsman, and he's working at his craft. And I wish the bloke the best because that is all I expect of every human being.
I feel like his stocks are rising, and I don't know. This is the most valuable that he's been in a while, I would say, from a perception point of view. I think because of the attitude piece. So I think that'll bode well for him come the end of the year. If I don't know what club would come for him potentially, whether it's, I mean, there's talks about St Kilda and North Melbourne and Gold Coast and these types. So I just think what happened last year where nobody wanted to take a punt on him, seemingly, I don't think that'll happen this year. So that's that.
You see, like Adrian's comment here, you see, I disagree with it. Like when you say he's been treated like absolute shit, are you privy to the conversations? Like I am sure.
Yeah, that's
He's sat down with Dow and explaining it, right? I am sure. Like it would be incredibly naive. Dow has been there since what 2017, 2016. Like what? He's been there like 6-7 years, right? So they would be like these players. You've got to remember these players are the most finicky human beings I've ever seen. Not many clubs have players like us that will come out and say ridiculous things like T train, whoop, whoop, as the board are trying to make a decision on the next coach. So there is no doubt in my mind, if he was being bullied or there was something detrimental, the players, they can't help themselves talk. They talk more than the fucking club. So I don't believe that. Do I think it's unfair he's not in? Yes, but I'm not going to buy into Dow's being bullied and mistreated. I am sure he is having the conversations. Whether he agrees with them or not, I would say his actions are there to see. He's working hard. He's about himself. He's trying to put himself in the window. And you know what? I applaud what I know for fact. And what I know for fact is he's kicking ass in the reserves and he's doing what he can. Ed Kerno playing is a side track. I don't believe it's the right decision. Would Dow play if I was the coach? Yes, 100%, unequivocally, right? But end of the day, like, I think it's really hard. Like, this is a societal problem. Everyone looks to like something that's not there. Like everyone always jumps to the mental health aspect, right? I am sure Dow is having the conversations. If he's not, yes, the club needs to be chastised because that is unacceptable. But I am sure Paddy Dow is having weekly conversations with the club. And until Dow comes out and says, oh, you know, I'm being picked on, I'm being pulled from pillar to post, let's see it. But for me, this is no different Ed Kerno playing than Eddie Betts' last 5 games. I didn't like that, right? So, you know, I am pro youth and pro opportunity, but the facts are I can't change it. I can't change it, and neither can you.
The truth will come out in 4 to 5 years, I'll say, maybe less. But there has to be something else to the equation that we just don't know. I just don't feel like it's as simple as what it seems outside looking in. There's more to the story. So
it's Australian sport in a nutshell. Do you know what I mean? Like Clayton Oliver doesn't play for a week, and then we've got he did some lines in the toilet, and then like a week later now he's got a full-grown meth problem and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely outrageous. Like, look, the cold hard facts are Dow's not in. Do you know what I mean? The cold hard facts are, in my opinion, Binge should play. Ed Kerno shouldn't. But end of the day, like, I don't buy into conjecture. I'm old school. Like, for me, rumours and shit like that's for something that my nana used to do when she was knitting. Right? Do you know what I mean? I ain't buying into that. All I know is Sunday, 1 o'clock, we've got a fucking game to win. So
yeah,
I'll leave that at the door.
Right. Well, that is this week's installment of the Paddy Dow chat. I'm already over it.
You can see it. It frustrates me.
Yeah. Christian, what are your pre-game superstitions? For me, I like to watch the highlights of all our wins this season. Highlights of all our wins. Interesting. I don't know if I've got any pre-game superstitions. I like to get to the ground as early as possible. I try and get there about an hour early and then just kind of almost walk around aimlessly. I don't like the anxiety of being rushed to the game and potentially being late. And so I'd just like to get there early, but I don't really have too many superstitions. You guys? Pom, do you have any routine?
Sounds soppy. Usually, before I do the watch along, I do a wee bit of meditation and center myself because I know I'm going to be up down. Mm-hmm. Usually, it's the same as I've always done, even when I played golf. I try and do something that takes my mind off what I'm about to do. So now, as an old 38-year-old, spend a bit of time with my kids, maybe play a bit of Minecraft.
Love that.
Totally get out of the zone, and then I come in and I act like a tit for 3 hours with you guys and girls.
Yeah. Just want to answer this. How does Josh Honey, I'm going back up for the questions. How does Josh Honey get 5 games early in the year and Dow can't even get a game? See, this, I don't agree this is the right question. You can't compare Dow and Honey, I don't think.
Well, one's a forward and one's a pure inside mid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends on makeup. But, I mean, then the argument comes out, you lost a winger who the club said was a high half forward this week, and you bring in Ed Kerner. So then you kind of argue, okay, Ed Kerner kind of plays high half forward in the last 2 years. But,
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, if Charlie Kerner's out, are you bringing in Jordan Boyd? Like, it's similar to asking that. But then again, the club doesn't back that up. Like, come on, it's like Josh, I love you, but favoritism, they're adults. Like if they haven't got the cognitive understanding that sometimes life doesn't go your way, it's going to be a long, long, hard life. Trust me, I'm 38 and I am victims of favoritism and I have understood it. My kids are 8. They understand sometimes you can do everything in your power and you don't get what you want. It's the cold, hard nature of life. Welcome to the real world. Dip your head in the water.
Yeah. Eid Mubarak to our Muslim brothers. Absolutely.
I'll have a go. Eid Mubarak. Tried. I'm sorry. If I've offended anyone, I feel horrifically horrible.
You tried. That's all that matters.
Hey, hopefully in the afterlife they'll take pity.
Yes. All right. I'm going to find some more questions here. Any other questions, guys? I'm going to move on from the Paddy Dow talk.
Yeah, please.
Because I think we've covered Paddy Dow. I think we've covered Ed Kerno. So let's talk about some other things. What have you got on your mind, guys? Is it still Paddy Dow and Ed Kerno? That's all I'm really seeing. What have we got? Oh, I've got one. Did you watch the game last night?
Which game?
City
Is this
Geelong?
a setup?
No.
Oh, yeah, I did, yes. Okay.
What did you think about the sling tackle? The sling tackle?
I just find the game is just, it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, at this stage now, you don't know if you can tackle. I fear long term they're going to cause more injuries at the moment because what looks like a fair tackle now isn't. I feel like there's way too much responsibility on players now to protect the tacklee. And like this tackle has been 2 weeks, discharged twice, and a week, and then a suspension. So this is going to be a weird one, isn't it? I mean, I just thought it was momentum, to be honest. I don't think it looked that bad. I always judge it on, does it look bad when I watch it in real time? I would ban slow motion replays because I think slow motion replays, if I hugged my wife, it would look like assault if you did it in slow mo. Like, it's one of them things. Slow mo makes everything look worse. So I thought it was just something I see in football every day.
I feel like the game is constantly testing the new rule, the new direction that they're going. I'm all for protecting the head. I'm curious also in boxing and in MMA, for example. Now, I know that they're combat sports and Aussie rules is not a combat sport. I'm curious around players signing up and being really clear that playing comes with a risk. And I don't know what they sign up to at the moment in that regard when it comes to, voluntarily and willingly playing a game where there is a reasonable risk that you are going to be concussed in your career, and knowing that, understanding that, and signing some sort of a waiver to that situation. I don't know what the current deal is with players playing and the situation, but I think until they resolve it and make it really clear, the game will continue to test the rule, because they show the highlights of the Stocker sling tackle a few weeks earlier, which I can't remember who he tackled. But the player didn't hit his head, but the actual action was not good. And that's what they're trying to stamp out. Whereas last night, like in the heat of the battle, like who made the tackle? Was it Will Hayward?
Yeah.
He's a smaller guy. Like he's just hanging on for dear life. And Francis just tried to, not Francis. Who was it? I've lost my train of thought. Francis had the ball.
Yeah, Hipwood was the stalker one.
Hipwood was the stalker one, but Francis had the ball last night and tried to get to the line. And I just think, I mean, if this one gets suspended, I'd be fascinated to see how far we continue to go down the rabbit hole of it.
Brad I think Close. You've got to.
That's right. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, you've got to think Brad Close in that whole footage of play is just doing his job.
Yeah.
Right. And Francis is a big unit. Right. Same with Stocker versus Hipwood. There is a huge size difference. If you've ever played rugby and you play as a fullback and you come across a prop, you'll realize that it's not as easy to bring him down. Right. So you've got to try and cling on for dear life, like you say, Terry, and try and get him to ground. And I think this is where he comes in. Do you know what I mean? Like Christian makes a great point. The AFL is so Scooby-Doo. It's confused. Like I can go out and punch someone and accidentally hit them on the jaw, which we covered in the last watch along we did for suspensions, and argue I was hitting his chest and it bounced up and hit his chin, and I'll get $1,000 fine. But I can't do an actual football act, and I could risk getting 2 weeks off. For me, that needs to flip. You need to get rid of the incidentals first. That should be. I'm a firm believer that any striking is 4 weeks. It's not needed. Do you know what I mean? When people say, "Oh, I want to see a bit of aggression," what right hooks are aggression, are they? Do you know what I mean? Tone of voice, attitude, they're aggressive. I find it needs to be black and white. And at the end of the day, you've got a point. This is like going to war and then suddenly getting there and going, "Oh, I don't like being shot at." Like, you kind of fucking know what you're signing up for. Do you know what I mean? Like, there has to be an element of that. So I'd love the AFL to just scrap the rules and black and white it. So we're all on the same page. Because at this stage now, you don't know if Close is getting 2 weeks, 1 week, no weeks, what fine is.
Yeah.
Josiah Pickett, he elbowed someone in the face at full speed, not even going for the ball. And he got less weeks than people who have had legitimate tackles that have gone wrong. You need to start black and white in it a bit, because I actually fear someone is going to get seriously hurt, and the blood will be on the AFL's hands. It will be on the player, because the players just don't know.
Yeah, because what they did with last night, or what they're going to do with last night's tackle, is like clearly Brad Close, his intention was to bring him to ground, which is what you're taught and which is what the rules allow for. And really, he had no other choice. He can't let him go. And also, pinning the arm means he's preventing him from getting rid of it, which is the whole point of laying that tackle. And I feel like they'll use that intention of Brad Close and group it with an intention to hurt. And I it's just such a gray area now. And I'm not so worried about it now, but it's going to hurt someone in the finals, because intensity lifts when you cross that white line when you're playing. Like it's very hard to switch on into that mode where you're in that ultimate gladiatorial competitor spirit playing this game, this physical, dangerous game. It is a dangerous game. It's very hard to monitor your levels of aggression once you cross the white line and once you're full of adrenaline and once you're playing. And I feel like somewhere along the line, that understanding is being lost. And that's not to say don't protect the head. Certainly protect the head, but I don't know where this ends. Like when does it become black and white? Because it continues to be grey.
It needs to be black and white, and we should change the name to Blue Abroad. Societal problems. I think this is again a societal problem. I think when you remove talent, skill, and logic, and you start to add an ingredient called fairness, safety, I think you lose all black and whiteness. For me, intent is everything. Do you know what I mean? Intent is everything. And I think that Nick Webb nails it as he often does. I love a bit of Webby and Adrian, but Brad Close is small. Mr. Francis is big. What's he got to do? Like if them two stood up dead still and tried to wrestle each other, Francis would win. So obviously Brad Close has got to try and use momentum to his advantage. And unfortunately it happens. And like for me, I didn't see anything in it. I've seen worse. And I'd rather them stamp out the striking. There was a couple of weeks ago, it didn't even get cited, but a player shoulder barge Stocker after that tackle. I think it was Hipwood, got him back, and he went over the stanchion. For me, them incidentals, they could hurt because Stocker wasn't expecting it. He's picking the fucking ball up out of bounds. But when he's got the ball, I'd imagine Hipwood expects to be tackled. So there'll be an element of him protecting himself. There has to be. So it will get to the stage where obviously someone's going to get seriously hurt and we'll probably have no game.
Well, yeah, Bugsbell, it's all about technique. So I see there being two options. Brad Close either just pins the arm but does not bring to ground, or the umpire has to blow the whistle earlier. That's really the only way I see it going. So.
Mate, and we'll probably go to the tribunal and he'll get 4 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean as well. Like, I wouldn't mind this if Brad Close went and it was the same punishment as the last 8 tackles, but it's going to be the 8th different one. And that's where the grey area is in the players, because what Cripps did to Archie, someone else could do and get 4 weeks. It is totally it shouldn't be so confusing. It should be one punishment for everyone.
You're forgetting one very important point about the Cripps situation.
Go on.
He bumps who he wants.
He bumps who he wants. No, spot on though. No, spot on. Like, I wouldn't mind though if there was a black and white rule.
Yeah.
And I feel like something needs to change in the off season.
All right. I'm going to go through some questions and then we're going to play a bit of a game. We love games. I like this. Paul, what's the most useless stat used by AFL media and the most underrated stat? I am not the person to answer this. Pommy, that's you.
Disposal efficiency, complete Fugazi stat.
Really?
Is irrelevant to anything.
Okay.
Pointless stat. Absolutely pointless stat, especially when you work out how it's measured. It's not what you think it is, and there's a lot of players with high disposal efficiency stats that aren't very good players. Most underrated stat, linking it to that, I think meters gained per disposal gives you a really good indication of if the most useless stat is actually relevant, because you actually see that when you look at that, the guys who have high efficiency have really low meters gained, which means that they've just caused it. So yeah, that's something that for me winds me up, because the AFL use that as well. If you watch the media, they will use that to their benefit, but they're also to criticize players, and very wary of stats. Stats are a good tool if you want to manipulate, because you can manipulate any stat to back your argument.
Fair. Tim, noting there is no Sicily, would we still resist being Harry Charlie centric like the Gold Coast game? It's going to play in our favor, but I see this being a game of talent over system. That's where it's intriguing for me.
I mean, with Jack Martin there, Connors there, they targeted them a bit, and you also had that mark outside 50. So that's what Carlton did well last time they played. I keep saying last week, but they changed the angles, which makes it easier. Do you know what I mean? Makes it easier to hit targets. Carlton generally have that long bomb, which just lands on them. I've got no doubt, though, that these players, when it gets a little bit heat, will just be like, oh, shit, bomb it to Charlie and Harry. Bomb it to... Because that's what they've done their entire careers. Do you know what I mean? Old habits die hard. But for me, I'm looking at this game. Let's go in there and realise where we are and where they are. And this should be an element of what Voss wants. Control and win. Win well. Because I love Hawthorn. I love what they're doing. I respect them. But with all the respect in the world, we should be looking at this side and saying we're going to beat you up worse than Gold Coast because we beat them up a week ago. And
Fair.
it should just, the floodgates should open. It should be Moses parting the seas.
Okay. Well,
Should.
It's time to play a little game. Let's do it. We want to share screen and we want to do this. It's back. We're back. We are absolutely back.
Oh,
okay,
well,
guys.
This game for a while.
Yeah. So, for those of you who have been here for a while, you'll remember this game. Basically, it's going to be a higher or lower game. There are going to be two players shown on the screen, and we have to guess who kicked the most goals in their career. Now, we got to 35, I believe. That's the record.
Let's say it is. I'm happy.
I'm going to give us... Well, you guys can decide if we keep going. How about that? No more than 3 goes, though. Who kicked more goals?
Spider! What a player he was.
Spider. Yeah. It's got to be Spider, right?
Dan Swan, he played a lot of games. He did like a snag, didn't he?
He did.
Spider, though. Do you know what I mean? Shit. Shit. You see, this is tough, this. Like, logic would say Spider, but Swan nailed goals, didn't he? And he had a longer career.
All right. I am leaning towards Spider Everett, but most of the chat are saying Swan. See you, Christian. Have a good one, man. All right. Don't let us lose first question.
That's on me.
I hate this.
It's a stupid game.
Stupid game. All right. Ballantyne or Bob Pratt?
This is always that worry one, right? Because the old guys, like, they kicked like 2,000 goals from fullback, didn't they? As we've worked out in this game.
It's going to be Pratt. I'm just going to go for it. Ballantyne did not.
I was going to say, there's no way he's got near 600.
Away we go. Away we go. Michael Roach or Bob Pratt. I have no idea who Michael Roach is. Sorry, but
don't know. I've killed a few.
He looks like he's celebrating with people who are running onto the field. So that could mean he kicked 100 goals in a season, or they are just people that ran onto the field.
Yeah, but I would have thought if he's got 700, Michael Roach would just hit you in the face. Because that's quite recent.
Yeah, it looks like the 80s.
Well, 77 to 89. I would have thought Michael Roach would have just been like, boom! But the chat are saying Disco Roach.
All right. Now we've got some OGs here. He's got a nickname, Disco Roach. All right. I think I'm going to go with it.
You watch him have like 324. Oh, you see? Always gets you. Do you know what I mean? The old guys kick snags for bants. Like, honestly, anything pre or during the war, these guys have a billion.
We're going to play one more. Only one more. I'm going to make it every time we play this, we get 3 chances. So this is the last one. Wow, we've really brought this one back with a bang into the program.
It's got to be Lockett, hasn't it?
Yeah, imagine we got that wrong.
We can't lose here because that has got to be more Lockett.
Like, it's just Lockett versus everyone, right?
209. As long as it's not a defender, we've won.
Okay. Hocking. Did he kick over 200 goals? I don't.
Tell you what, the battle of the backroom staff, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
209 is, I reckon if you gave me an 11-year AFL career, I'd kick more than 209.
Okay. Gale, a lot of people. Is it Gale or Hocking? So Hocking played 14 years. Gale played 11.
209, Gary
209 is a low number. Did Gary Hocking play forward at all? I don't know. Whiskers. The chat
209. 209. Hocking.
I'm leaning towards Gary Hocking.
The frizzy hair from the mid in the late 80s, early 90s is screaming. He had at least 430 goal years in him.
Adrian is sure it's Gale.
But 209 in 11 years, Adrian.
There's a lot of Gale in the chat.
You know what? I like Adrian. He's my boy. And he said, trust me. So I'm going to... Terry always tells us not to trust the chat. I'm a sucker.
All right, Adrian, and we're going to trust you. I'm sick of all of you. No. Yeah, it sucks.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
wet wipes. Wet wipes. All of us.
I said, look, 430 goal years from hockey. You just used that.
No, Adrian, that is the last time you get trusted, mate. That is absolutely ridiculous. That
absolutely broke me. I bigged him up as well.
Mate, we played 3 rounds and got 1 right or 2 right, and 2 of them were Lockett. Ugh.
Well, we've had a big postseason.
Disaster. That was terrible.
It was good fun.
Adrian knew. He knew. I trusted him. I should have trusted Wayne. That's what I should have done. Wayne wouldn't lie to me. Anyway.
It's good bands.
After this, you have to react to an old fan cams. I mean, we can do anything you like, really, in the chat. What do you want to do? What would you like to do? Would you like to watch an old fan cams? Because we can share the screen and watch an old fan cams if you like. Just let us know which one. Actually, yeah. What is your favorite moment ever on the channel? There's my question. Favorite moment ever. Swans fan cams. Yeah, that was sick.
That's easy for me. Terry, he's a Moorish medal. They don't just hand them out. And then Terry proceeds to list off every Moorish medal. That's fucked up.
I don't think I'd ever given you any attitude up until that point either.
That was good bands. I've always enjoyed that.
All right, I'm gonna get a second screen up. I'm gonna get some cool things up. Chat, what do you want? How about the first ever fan cams? Oh yeah. What was the first ever fan cams? That's a good question.
Jimmy, that's a... Forget about the 8, Terry.
Let me have a look. What was the first
good
ever
things we've said on this chat, to be fair?
First ever fan... I'm actually going to look that up. I'm interested in that. The live stream fan cams. I'm going to search it up. Because we did fan cams outside the stadiums at the start in 2019. That was fun. But the first ever fan cams ever was... I'm looking at the account now.
The OGs will remember the best video is Terry in a swimming pool. A shadow of a doubt, how he tried to alfresco that is unbelievable.
This can't be right, but it says here, round 17, 2020 was the first ever fan cams live on stream. Is that right?
It would have been during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that is 2020. Surely we did
I've
fan cam.
kind of
Julian.
blocked it out.
Surely. No, surely. All right, I'll get it up.
I'm scared. Terry's got the giggles.
This is brilliant. That's what this is.
Oh, look how young you look. What did we do to you?
Oh, wait, can you hear that? No.
Welcome to the round 17
Okay.
fan cams. Very, very disappointing effort by the boys today, particularly in that first half.
Shit like that. Come on, guys. What the hell are you doing?
It was for me, mate. There was too much talk about Gibbs and how much we love him, and like for me, let that happen after the game. It was all smiles and before the game, and then when it came to game time to get switched on and have that winning ruthless aggression, it wasn't there. Like, what are we just got to cop it.
I mean, Doherty went off early. Fair enough.
Where is Andy now?
You know, where's Simpson? Where's Murphy?
I don't know.
Standing up? Murphy had a few good kicks, and that was it. He does the early coaching. Just tries for the easy handball and quick hand passes. All he does.
This is what we've got to look for.
I love
We
Beachy
don't
angry.
get that. Where are we going to be as a club?
Mate, you're showing more effort and care than what our own boys did in that first half.
This was like
non-emotion.
early Rocco
Right.
days.
But it's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. That's what this is. This is embarrassing, man. Like there's no urgency.
Live
Is
from a
there?
coffee
Is there?
machine.
There's no urgency. Is there? See the way they're just jogging around? It's like they're getting their paychecks. They don't give a fuck. I'm telling you. Man, we've probably got 6 or 7 players that we can say we need to keep. The rest, I'm telling you, are just useless, man. You know, I'll give you another thing that I didn't like. McGovern, forget about this, wasting our time here. McGovern, O'Brien, he comes in, he gets his chance. What does he do? Seriously, man, run. What have you been doing for fucking 18 weeks? You've been doing nothing. You get your chance, run. That's all I'm asking you to do, mate. Cripps. He did that great goal, innit? That's a bloody good goal, innit? And then you know what pissed me off? And he did this last week. He winked. Now, I know that's a little thing, but he gave that wink of, hey, mate. What, hey, mate? What's this wink, mate? You shouldn't be winking, mate. You shouldn't be winking, and this is the attitude that's going through the fucking club. And another thing fucking during the week, man, I already see, I'm telling you, the fans, what's wrong with you people, mate? I see posts, if we win by 97 points and this team loses, and if we do this and I do a backflip and my fucking grandmother had balls, we're going to make the finals. Are you serious? Are you serious? We shouldn't have even been thinking of that. We should have been thinking first bounce, mate. First bounce.
I've got serious flashbacks.
Oh, man, I don't even know what to say anymore, man. This is like...
I love
It is just
football. I mean, I don't feel like I'm surprised anymore. Do you know what I mean? And I'm hearing players, like people say, the same old trite. We need a big-bodied midfielder. Find me a big-bodied midfielder in the comp that is elite by foot, that has a high inside 50 ratio conversion rate. I mean, Ollie Wines is mentioned. He's 11% and 50% by foot. Like, big-bodied midfielders genuinely can't fix the inside 50 count. You're looking at your outsiders. Like, we can point fingers at people. We can say we can bring players in. But until there's a desire, and I'm telling you now, 100%, it is fucking desire that is missing in this club. And players who are brought in can't fucking give you that. That is a mentality that transcends from the top of the tree down to the fucking bottom. And the workers are the players. And I'm sorry, but look at the club as a whole. We project how much money we fucking made. Do you know what I mean? This week, all I've heard from the fans is I hope fucking Gibbs gets carried off. I hope Gibbs gets carried off. Are you fucking kidding me, people? He doesn't play for us anymore. He won us fuck all. This doesn't fly where I come from. In England, we don't fucking celebrate players that did fuck all for us. Because finals is on the fucking line. The way people jogged in the first quarter, fucking jogged. Finals on the line. You've got GWS making a shit show of themselves, giving us a third chance, and there's no passion. No fucking passion. I'm sick of it. You've got Chris Breach crying, man. Fucking crying. And people in the comments laughing at him for crying. No wonder we're shit, because you lot clapped them off. And you've got players, fans crying, paying fucking money, crying over it, man. I'm so fucking upset. I'm wearing a headband.
Angry Pom.
So good. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. We do have Mark here. We do. This was OG Mark.
Yeah.
That's happened throughout this year. For fuck's sake!
Wow.
Why every single fucking time we give teams from the bottom half, or doesn't matter who, where, the fucking start that they get? We should have been up by 40 to 50 points up at the fucking start of this game. When is it going to take it that we as a club know that our finals hopes were on the line somehow by the little snip of a bee's dick?
Fair.
I think. Before I start, as usual, shout out to friend Nate who's watching today. How are you, mate? Good to have you on board.
I remember Jason. It's good.
We are honestly.
You know, they can do it.
I know my rants off by heart. Like, fuck me.
Really good coach, and they've got a really
it's
good.
Just the same shit, different brands.
With us, I look at it and I'm thinking, what are we doing? Like, who are we? Is this?
We're a fucking social club, mate. That's what we are. We're a social club. It's not about winning. It's about loving one another and giving each other hugs. And I didn't see the Gibbs footage after the game. I came straight onto here. I probably would have been even more filthier if I did.
Yeah. It's
to be honest.
And look, and I saw your tweet during the game.
We should watch that.
You know, you get what you deserve, and I honestly think we did. I think we got so caught up.
Watch Gibbs being chatted.
What a champion Gibbs was for us. What a champion Cruiser was for us. And it's like, yeah, cool, but let's win. Win now, and then say, look, Gibbs, we love you. That's great, you know. And if we cheered him off and we'd won, I would have had absolutely no issues with it, and I'd be happy to clap him off, big smiles on our faces. But after we don't show up and we lose like that, and you see Gibbs smiling and laughing and pointing out to the crowd and his family, he's stoked. While you've got Simo and Murph carrying him, smiling and having a laugh as well. And you think, who are we? Honestly, who are we? There's so much.
Do you remember when he kicked his goal? I remember doing the watch along and I fucking lost it. When he kicked his goal and I saw fucking Carlton fans flying fucking. Oh, God, what is like, honestly, like, I'm not lying when I say I go to war with these boys. Like, honestly, anyone who's not wearing blue can get fucked for that 2 hours. I haven't actually seen him ever be cheered off. I've watched it once in my life, just so you know. Yeah. I have never gone back to watch that because it makes me angry. Even thinking about it actually hurts the very fabric of my fucking soul.
Wow. That actually pissed me off more than why I did that. I don't know what I was thinking doing that. Let's go back to last year. How about that? Let's go back to last year. Hang on, let me share my screen again. Carlton v Hawthorn fan cams, or just whatever we've got. What have we got?
Oh, there it is.
That was last year. Should we tune into this one?
Yeah.
Let's see what we had here.
We're 3-0. Wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, credit to them, they won. And good teams find a way, don't they? Good teams find a way. And I don't know how they did it. I have no idea. I can't even analyze that and say they knew how they did it. But, I mean, this team keeps winning. The old Claudio Ranieri. We just keep winning, don't we? And fair play to them. They need to learn how to play under pressure. Do you know what I mean? But it's a work in progress. And Vossi said that. And we saw that today. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, but they did it.
They did it. I think a couple.
You
of
see,
things-
there's the warning sign for
They
me
were
for
best of
Voss.
this team.
Like that contested brand snagged us 3 wins,
Yes.
and he never defended his. He never accepted what we were. He always added them. We liked it at the time, but he
Yeah.
always said it'll get better. Where Fly at Collingwood has always said, "No, this is our fucking
looks
brand,
like
man.
early
Like
in
it
the
or
game,
fuck
that
off."
first quarter was scintillating, and then we got to see where the inconsistencies are.
Where are we at?
Full force. And I don't know about you guys at home, but like in that fourth quarter, I'm thinking surely we're not going to do a 2019 and a 2020.
Especially for those investors out there, because that
Got
was
Mark
just
back on here,
insane.
mate.
You can't
We
kill
love a
teams.
Mark POV.
I was going in today like I was going to be some old wog with a fag in my mouth, thinking this is going to be at least 10 goals today. And you thought after quarter time, look, our egos go at an all-time high. Well, I guess it did.
When you've worked with
because
Terry as
now
long as
we've
I
got,
have, you can
four
tell what he's
after
thinking
quarter time.
just by looking at him. I reckon I could
um,
play a game where you could block out who's on opposite of Terry, and I can work out who's talking just by Terry's reaction.
Reader's fucking, he single-handedly fucking carried that.
Oh, this
back
guy
line,
was so cool. Where did
especially
he
at the
go?
final quarter.
He's around.
Oh my god, he's fucking clutch, mate. Like, I don't know how the AFL doesn't like praise that with readers.
Yeah.
Like he does it every game pretty much. Like even last year, like he holds them single-handedly. Like it's just he's so underrated in that aspect. And JSOS, I love him, mate. I love him.
There's never a dull moment with this club, is there?
I'm not going to complain. Like we're 3-0, but fuck.
Well, it's good. You know what that means? The standards are getting higher now, aren't they?
Wow, we're so happy.
We're complaining about a win.
I know.
It's nice, isn't it?
I mean, we were saying it just now. Like
I like being
we're
happy.
learning, but
Yeah,
we're winning while doing the lesson learning. You know.
yeah. It was a weird game because I thought, a lot went our way in that first quarter, but I just thought that there were signs in that second term where I'm like, I don't really like the way Hawthorn are kicking their goals, and I think that Hawthorn, and I think I was talking to Pommy as well, and I kept saying, mate, we keep falling into the trap. We weren't able to get front and center from our
Street pressure by Hawk.
Yeah. No, full credit to how they went about it because they looked dead. We looked like we had really killed them. But
And if you notice that we lost, like they started coming a bit and we just started losing that structure. They started going, long behind us. We were caught up the ground a lot, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we've got to learn, of course, that, we've got to try to keep that structure throughout the whole game, and we fell away a little bit, and we started making mistakes.
Don't worry, Rocco. They'll learn it.
I'm stoked over that win more than the other 2 wins.
yeah,
We needed that. And now we're third on the ladder. Do you believe it?
top 4.
Hooray!
That is good fun. That is good fun. Okay. I think we might bring that one back. Maybe in the off season we can do little watch alongs with old school fan cams and just sit here and have a watching party.
We should watch round 23's watch along. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Round 22 and round 23 are, looking back, my favorite videos because I think we went through the emotions. We were in finals. We weren't in finals. Dear.
Goodness
Okay.
me. It is crazy. Well, any last questions, guys? I think that was fun. An hour every weekend on a Saturday, I think is a good shout. Just to chill out a little bit. Doesn't have to always be about Carlton. Josh, you need to see when I said it's written in the stars. Maybe next week. We can do it next week.
Written in stars.
Yeah. Pommy, what are your thoughts on the Ashes? A few questions here. What's the
For fuck's
situation?
sake. Come on. Is this pick on the foreigner time? Is this bit of xenophobia coming in? Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's all right for you guys. You live in your home country. I'm surrounded by 6 million people who are at my throat at the moment. Yeah, it's not good. The Poms just handed out little benefits for the Australians at the moment. But I mean, full credit to Usman, and no doubt Steve Smith will make a ton by about 10 o'clock tonight just to really sink the fucking dagger in. Yeah, and it's all right though. I mean, at least Big Gary's injured, so I mean, there's a win. Winning the songs though, that's the real Ashes. I was singing that, I've got to admit. I do like Steve Smith there. Caveat.
Can I just say that is one of the best chants I've heard in a long time.
Tell you, cricket pops. Lords is a bit shit, to be fair, because Lords is like it's full of pompous morons. So you don't quite get the atmosphere. You will do next week and stuff as they go back up north, but Lords is a bit of a non-event because it's just full of suits. But it's yeah, it's been good. I mean, I've got to say, there's a little bit of heat in this Ashes, which I'm enjoying. There's a little bit of smack talking from both sides. I'm a big fan of that, but it's been a good game. Pom's self-destructing, which is always nice to see. Compulsive hookers, Bugs Bell. Indeed, they don't like the short ball, them boys.
I think I might just get us off finishing with just one more piece of footage just there, just to remember where we've come from.
I'm scared.
Stand by. There we go.
Congratulations, great moment here. And a couple of Carlton boys.
Look at the state of these fuckers, man. And they've just lost by fucking what? 16.
Of football and the love from both teams. That's outstanding.
On your Brycey.
Oh, like honestly. Fuck me. Like, that was a disaster, that game. Like, everything that pisses Pom off, that is it. Like, what I'm about, that is the Antichrist of what I'm about.
The crazy part about it all is, so in that game, from memory, we needed to win that game to stay in the hunt for the 8 after a...
Yeah, because GWS had full shit the bed.
Yes. Who would have thought 3 years later, we are in pretty much the same position? I think that was round 17 from memory. So, we're at round 16. Okay. So what are we? 2.5 games or two games outside of the 8 right now as it stands, because Geelong and Sydney drew. Geelong at 8th. So we're 2 games behind them. Who would have thought 3 years later we would be in the same situation?
Well, I mean, you've only got to watch the fan cams like you were playing. Some of the things we're saying about playing under pressure, still haven't learned. And I do think a lot of pressure handling, I always say this, is mindset. And I think to be good at handling pressure, you've got to have 2 key fundamentals. And one of them is being an arsehole. You've got to have a sheer internal arrogance for winning and getting the job done, not being self-preservation, but more having that internal values of doing it. And like, you look how happy they are. See, that's the one that shits me. Like, I don't understand why the fuck you'd carry someone off when you've lost. Anyway, like, do you know what I mean? Even if the guy had fucking was a legend.
Different story. I honestly believe different story if it was like a, multiple premiership player and, was part of the winning team and the winning, like, if Joel Selwood didn't finish his career at Geelong, for example, like he's a champion of Geelong. I don't know if Gibbsy, he's a good player. Is he a champion of Carlton? Is he a champion? That's
Ironically, in the last like 30 years, yeah, probably. like Everett's still top 10 goal kickers, bro.
Yeah. I think that's where the piece was. I think that's where it was. And that probably goes to show for something about that disconnect between club and fan. Because the reaction on the fan cams after that was unbelievable.
For me, there's way too much value on failure and this imaginary loyalty job. Like for me, if I was the coach, I would have told them players, fuck him, buy him a beer at the end of the game. Adelaide can do something for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not for me. Like, you know how to wind me up, Terry. Sentiment and nonsense like that, like living in the past, not for Pom.
Fair.
Not for Pom.
I would carry off Pom if he left the club and retired.
I wouldn't leave though. I got loyalty.
Yeah, true. Different story. That is the main difference. Josh says him and his dad did a list of Carlton champions. We have 9. Then 8 medium players and 10. Oh, do you mean the list now? Oh, yeah. Pom, this is the most commonly asked question I get in when I go to games and people come up to me and talk to me and we talk about the channel. It's like, why doesn't Pommy come to a game? And I have to explain. Can you explain?
Honestly, I froth. I froth doing the watch-alongs. It's a threefolded question. The person I go with is unable to go. So sticking around here is good. 2, I get more turned on by watching it at home with you guys and girls. To be fair, partly because, all due respect, I don't get off on the atmosphere of AFL. It's almost like going to a netball game to me. I like a bit of fire and furnace and doing what I'm allowed to do. And yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I go to games that aren't Carlton with mates and stuff, but I've got a job to do and I like it. Like, honestly, it doesn't bother me. So if it doesn't bother me, it shouldn't bother you. Yeah. I always say. Ask Terry how I'm doing. That's a better question. You know what I mean? Ask about my mental well-being, where I am in life. Oh, well.
It's true. Could we possibly live stream Pom at a game? Well,
you'll live stream me when we win a flag, whenever that is, down Lygon Street, doing big shots in a bar somewhere.
Honestly, that is what keeps me going. Call it the hope, and whether it's going to be this year, next year, or the next decade, I don't know. But it's the gaping hole of success and being deprived of watching success is just so significant that I can't even comprehend what it would be like to do a fan cams after semi-final win or preliminary final weekend. Like I can't even fathom the nerves and that, because it's a reality that I've not really experienced. I don't remember 99 prelim. As a sort of like a teenager onwards, I don't have any memories of anything after a semi-final, which is crazy.
Mate, it's going to go off. Mate, it's what keeps me going. I've imagined it. I've imagined grand final, watch along. Do you know what I mean? Going absolutely crazy with the content during the thing, going mental.
Grand final. I've thought about it. I'm like, oh, well, do I come home straight after the grand final? Like, even if we win?
Nah, fuck it. We'll do fan cams from the casino together.
but I feel like the responsibility is there. It's like, no, you got to capture it straight after. Then I'm like, wait, would we all want to jump on fan cam straight after a grand final win, or do we all just want to get along and celebrate?
We have to scrap the watch along and do a piss along, where we just are in a fucking table and we just get on the beers and it's just uncut, edited, and we stream till we drop.
Yeah. Stream till we're dead. Stream till we're dead.
You know what I mean? That's what the people want.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's 11:45. This was fun. Dare to dream, correct, Adrian. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. If you have any ideas about what we can do on a BA Saturday or anything at all, reach out to me. Send me an email. Send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or you can complete the survey, which is in the top of the YouTube live chat right now. If you haven't completed the survey, please do. It helps a lot. I need a favor. So I need you to complete the survey. It takes 90 seconds. You can also fill in some feedback at the end of the survey about ideas that you've got. So please get in touch. Things are moving. Things are ramping up. Life's changing. Life's evolving. And I'm excited to start this next chapter of life. So thank you if you've already completed it. Thank you for tuning in. Ur, thank you very much for the generous donation. And Pommy, thanks for being here, mate.
My pleasure, my friend. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right. See you tomorrow. Go Blues.
Go Blues.